Hey there Summoners, how's it going? My name is Nathan Ng and I'll be your host for the Korean builds for patch 12.9. This video will provide you guys with the latest trending builds for all 5 roles. Make sure you stay tuned and also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. With all that being said, let's get this video started. Starting off the video, let's run through the trending build for Swain. Following his mid-scope update, Swain's play rates have popped off. While his win rates were initially lackluster, some hotfix buffs really helped him stabilize. He's currently in a decent spot, and with more time, his win rates will naturally rise as players optimize his gameplay. That said, a new build has started seeing more use, taking advantage of his newfound durability and pushing him towards a true battle mage build. For his runes, you'll take Conqueror, Presence of Mind, Legend Tenacity, Coup de Grace, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, Double Adaptive Force, and a defensive rune. While Tenacity is honestly the only viable option on its line, it is so good on Swain. You want to spend as little time CC'd as possible, so you can get in on your opponents and stay there. His items are Winter's Approach, Ionian Boost of Lucidity, Riftmaker, Demonic Embrace, Zhonya's, and Spare Visage. This build provides a ton of damage as well as an incredible amount of defensive stats to ensure that you can serve as a tank for your team. Next up is top lane Karma. You have permission for me to groan again because she's once again seeing more play. As always, she's a powerful lane bully who also scales well. She deals solid damage, shuts down her lane opponent, and provides insane utility in teamfights at all points of the game. For Karma's runes, take Grasp of the Undying, Shield Bash, Bone Plating, Revitalize, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, Attack Speed, Adaptive Force, and a defensive rune. Her items are Frostfire Gauntlet, Ionian Boost of Lucidity, Staff of Flowing Water, Zhonya's Hourglass, Redemption, and Rabadon's Deathcap. Frostfire Gauntlet grants enough durability to survive against any initial burst, but you'll mainly build it for the slow. It makes Karma significantly more obnoxious to play against and continues to aid her teammates in fights. Also, if you're interested in learning how to become a better team fighter or work on other aspects of your gameplay, make sure you contact a coach over at ProGuides.com. We have experts who can help with all roles and champions, so make sure you check out our site. That covers the top lane builds, so make sure you take a look at the screen for a quick recap of them. Moving forward, we'll talk about the jungle builds. Our next build is for Khazix. Ultimately, it trades in some of his burst damage for more durability and long-term damage. Given the recent durability adjustments, this build will likely gain more popularity as time passes. Khazix is blessed with some insane AD ratios, and taking Conqueror along with any bruiser itemization is something that you shouldn't sleep on. For his runes, take Conqueror, Triumph, Legend Tenacity, Coup de Grace, Magical Footwear, Cosmic Insight, Attack Speed, Adaptive Force, and a defensive rune, usually Armor. For his items, go for Gore Drinker, Defensive Boots, Mana Immune, Death's Dance, Mob Malmortius, and Guardian Angel. Again, this build basically turns Khazix into a bruiser, but he still deals an insane amount of burst damage. In turn, he won't instantly blow up even if the enemy team decides to focus on him. With the pace of teamfights likely slowing down, Ivor is certainly looking to find his place in the meta back once again. Definitely don't sleep on him as a pick, as defensive utility will only get stronger in metas where assassins aren't as prominent. For his runes, take Summon Airy, Nimbus Cloak, Transcendence, Water Walking, Zombie Ward, Relentless Hunter, Ability Haste, Adaptive Force, and Health. Taking Water Walking and Relentless Hunter significantly increases Ivor's map mobility, allowing him to quickly traverse the map to support his teammates and also quickly move towards the jungle camps. His items are going to be Everfrost, Ionian, Redemption, Zhonya's Hourglass, Anathema's Chains, and Staff of Flowing Water. Anathema's tenacity reduction towards the Nemesis is extremely effective with Ivor's lockdown. Everfrost adds another piece of crowd control that he brings to teamfights and also provides him with a huge increase in AP with his mythic stat bonus. In regards to tenacity, let me ask you our question of the day. Do you feel like crowd control is currently too strong, balanced, or too weak? At the moment, I think it's pretty close to being balanced, but if Riot plans on increasing durability in the next patch, that may change things. If fight length increases, the amount of time that somebody spends locked down matters slightly less, since they technically have a higher chance of surviving through it. Let me know your answers in the comments down below, and let's continue on with the video. That's it for the jungle build, so we'll put them up on the screen for one final look. Moving forward, we have the mid lane. For mid laners, we'll begin with the build for Sylas. Again, battle mage builds are receiving further optimization. This build focuses on making him a durable team fighter rather than a melee assassin-like champion. The biggest change for this setup are his items. But before we get into that, let's talk about his runes though. His runes are Conqueror, Triumph, Legend Tenacity, Last Stand, Magical Footwear, Biscuit Delivery, Double Adaptive Force, and a defensive rune. Now, what he's going to build is going to be Frostfire Gauntlet, Ionian Boost of Lucidity, Zhonya's Hourglass, Demonic Embrace, Cosmic Drive, and Rabadon's Deathcap. Frostfire Gauntlet and Demonic Embrace synergizes extremely well, as Sylas will gain bonus AP based on his HP. Frostfire Gauntlet's mythic passive grants bonus HP, allowing him to get some extra AP on top of getting a little bit tankier. Frostfire's slow also makes it harder to escape from him once he manages to lock in on his target. The second mid lane build that we'll be going over is for Renekton. Again, it's a tankier build, but sacrifices relatively no damage for the sake of a massive increase in durability. This build is particularly effective against AP mid laners as it incorporates plenty of magic resistance. In later parts of the game, if you choose a split push, the enemy mid laner is likely going to have a hard time dealing with you. For his runes, it's a standard setup. Take Conqueror, Triumph, Legend Alacrity, Last Stand, Bone Plating, Unflinching, Attack Speed, Adaptive Force, and a defensive rune. Now moving on to his items, build Divine Sunderer, Defensive Boots, Death Stance, Mob Mortius, Guardian Angel, and Spare Visage. Like I mentioned earlier, the build provides a ton of magic resist, but also boosts his healing immensely with both Sunderer and Spare Visage. Divine Sunderer also increases Renekton's percent armor pen as the game progresses, making sure that he remains a significant threat well into the mid and late game. We finished up with the mid lane build, so make sure to take another look at the screen for some recap of those builds. Concluding the video, we'll give you guys a rundown of our bot lane builds. A champion you can't sleep on in the bot lane is Vladimir. Like his marksman counterparts, Vladimir scales ridiculously well. Kind of like my current dating life, it can't really hurt with somebody holding his hand, helping him safely farm up to reach his item power spikes. With the sustain, he's also able to deal with poke decently and also applies a solid amount of kill pressure after level 6. Overall, it's a similar setup as to what you'll find in the solo lane. For his runes, take Phase Rush, Nimbus Cloak, Transcendence, Gathering Storm, Magical Footwear, Cosmic Insight, Ability Haste, Adaptive Force, and Health. For his items, build Hextech Rocket Belt, Sorcerer's Shoes, Cosmic Drive, Zanya's Hourglass, Rabadon's Death Cap, and a Void Staff. While at many times it's been considered a troll build, Support Ashe is breaking into the meta once again. She's had her moments, and this build serves to prove that Senna doesn't really need to be the only marksman supporting in the game. Early on, Support Ashe is an annoying lane bully who can go ahead and provide her team with valuable information via her E. As the game progresses, she transitions into a secondary carry role and initiator with her ultimate. For her runes, take Arcane Comment, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, Scorch, Cheap Shot, Ultimate Hunter, Double Adaptive Force, and a defensive rune. Arcane Comment, Scorch, and Cheap Shot make Ashe an insanely powerful laner. Her volley ends up dealing absurd amounts of extra damage, which allows her to dominate the laning phase and likely put the enemy marksman behind. Her items are Imperial Mandate, Ionian, Umbral Glaive, Manamune, Axiom Arc, and Chempunk Chainsword. Ashe's synergy with Imperial Mandate goes without saying as she naturally applies her slow with every attack. Building Axiom Arc rewards her heavily for contributing towards teamfights, as she'll be able to use her ultimate over and over again. Our final bot lane builds are for a combo, Pantheon and Braum. While at first sight the duo may seem a little bit awkward, they actually fill some big shoes in any team comp. They're able to soak up a ton of damage, provide reliable lockdown, and of course Pantheon is Pantheon. His map presence is extremely strong with his ultimate, and he's also a huge threat to squishies with undodgeable CC, damage, and tankiness. Another powerful synergy the two share is a synergy with Braum's passive and Pantheon's W. After leaping on his opponent, Pantheon can briefly delay his attack and reposition. If Braum attacks a target or lands his Q, Pantheon's next attack should immediately activate Braum's passive for a follow-up stun. It's an absolutely insane lockdown that continues to have a huge impact well into the late game. For this duo, you'll also want to make sure you take Summoner Ignite and Exhaust as you're essentially playing for kills and using the threat of kill pressure to win lane. First, we'll go over Pantheon's build. His runes are Conqueror, Triumph, Legend Tenacity, Coup de Grace, Cheap Shot, Ultimate Hunter, Double Adaptive Force, and a defensive rune. For his items, build Eclipse, Defensive Boots, Death Stance, Black Cleaver, Maw Mortius, or Sorrelda's Grudge, and Guardian Angel. Maw is typically built against heavy AP, obviously for the burst damage, while Sorrelda's provides a huge massive increase in damage output. For Braum's runes, run Guardian, Font of Life, Bone Plating, Unflinching, Biscuit Delivery, Approach Velocity, Ability Haste, and 2 defensive runes. His items are Steel Shoulder Guards, Even Shroud, Defensive Boots, Knight's Vow, Zeke's Convergence, and Anathema's Chains. Anathema's is insanely strong on Braum if you manage to get to that point in the game. The reduced tenacity threatens enemy carries, while the damage reduction makes Braum even harder to kill on top of his protective wall. That'll finish up with the bot lane build, so like always, we'll throw up the builds on the screen one more time for you. Thanks for watching our Korean builds for patch 12.9. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and feel free to let us know what you guys think in the comments down below, or if you guys have any other builds of your own. Also, check out the description if you want to join our Discord community. It'd be really great to see y'all there. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.